I wanted to be a certain type of person, but a lot of my thoughts were kind of, I guess, rooted in the ego. And when I say the ego, I don't necessarily mean arrogance. I just mean the part of your brain that says I. It's the thinker, and that part of your brain is very self-serving, and it lives in a world of comparisons and time, and none of these things are helpful. And it just kind of would consistently take me out of a positive place. The man I wanted to be, or the man I thought I should be, or thinking how you should be doing things or what you should be doing, but then not executing those things leaves you in this kind of spiral of disappointment. But again, all that thinking is based on time. You're basing who you are and what you think you should be on who you'll be tomorrow and who you were yesterday. And so for me, the most effective tool I've adopted is just trying to stay present. When you're in the moment, it's not like you've satisfied the part of your brain that thinks in terms of time. It's that the part of your brain that thinks in terms of time just gets quiet. It kind of doesn't exist anymore. So a lot of my old hurdles have kind of become far more manageable by just staying present. All you really have in life, I think, is just now, a series of nows. And I think when you can kind of surrender to that, you can't lose. So for me, getting through the struggles that are associated with day-to-day life, it's just be present. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about the next minute. Just where are you right now? Don't miss right now. Be here now. And a nice sense of calm just kind of washes over. I probably started thinking this way when I was, maybe 15, 16 years old. And they say you don't really wake up from dreams, you wake up from nightmares. And not to say my childhood was a nightmare at all, by any means, but I certainly started to see a pattern, where whatever my struggles or challenges were at that age, if they were ever kind of met or satisfied, I started to see how the next day my brain found new struggles and challenges to be at odds with, and you start to realize how amazingly resilient that part of your brain is, that can just create conflict and truly be at odds with what is. And I started to worry that no matter what happened or where I went in my life, will that always be that way? What's preventing me from being truly happy or truly peaceful or present? What is the thing that's creating this conflict? And you start to realize a lot of it, when you take, it's not those individual things. Well, that girl didn't like me, or well, that guy's smarter than me. That's not it. It's the part of your brain that is driving this machine, the I, that ego. It's a very self-serving animal, and it lives in a world of comparison. And a lot of Eastern philosophies, whether it's Buddhism or Taoism, Hinduism, they all kind of share a similar awareness of that brain noise and its potential pitfalls. And at that age, I just kind of that's the one thing that just made the most sense to me. That's the one thing that I saw as it just made sense to the treadmill that I saw myself running on. That was the one thing that I said, yeah, that's what's going on here. This is just this brain that just it's no matter what I do, it's going to find new things. It scared me and that worried me, and that's what kind of made me want to pursue a little bit more exploration into that way of thinking. I'm a big fan of reading, big fan of Eckhart Tolle. That guy is it. Power Now is a fantastic book. New Earth's a fantastic book. Stillness Speaks. I'll say anything by Eckhart Tolle. To me, that's kind of like, it's like my Bible. Any day I'm having a rough time or I can't seem to change the channel, I can pick up any one of his books and just read any chapter, and it just resonates. And it's a nice feeling to know that you're not the only one thinking this way or going through these struggles or hurdles, and it just kind of exercises that muscle and works out that part of the brain really well. I try to look at it as practice. My biggest struggle in my early 20s was believing I understood a concept or a certain philosophy that I subscribed to, but then consistently not living that way and not executing those beliefs, and struggling and being depressed or disappointed in life. And I knew better, but I wasn't living that way, and that's really frustrating. And The problem is that's all just ego. That's ego sneaking in the back door. That's you kind of, the part of your brain that thinks about the story of Chris wants to see that story in a certain light, but that's just ego. That's not real either. So for me, it's a matter of being perfectly okay, exactly where I am, and practicing. It's like if I was going to try and pick up a sport, I'm not going to be amazing tomorrow. Today, I just have to dribble. Just got to dribble the ball. And if the ball gets away from me today, it's okay. Get it back and just dribble again. Even if it takes all of my focus and energy just to dribble this ball, maybe tomorrow it won't. And it won't be as, consuming. But it's okay to be where I am. I don't have to wake up tomorrow and be a pro. And I think that that mentality has gone a long way for me in terms of just surrendering to the moment, surrendering to where I am, and surrendering even to my failures. Your failures are okay too. I used to really be very hard on myself if I thought I wasn't accomplishing something or reaching a certain level. But be with your failures. They're just as educational and just as opening to the process as the successes. And eventually, I would hope, the notion of success and failure will begin to dilute as well. So yeah, just practice. Is there any one piece of wisdom you've managed to integrate fully into your own life that you can share? Sure. Shh. It's my favorite. I did a little with Lindsay, actually. I went to India. We did this retreat a few years back, and one of the guys, our guru on the trip, is a man named Nand. Brilliant man. And he would, lecture every day, and there were just so many times where I had questions, and I would just raise my hand, and he kind of just kept telling me to shh, and it was so frustrating because I felt I had good questions, and if you just give me an answer, I'll be quiet, and he kept telling me to be quiet, and it really bothered me, and it made me doubt, but it was a very effective tool, because the truth is, the part of my brain that needed that answer, that wanted that answer, is the part of the brain that I don't need. It's kind of this, I needed it to get me to India. There's a great quote I read, you need the boat to cross the river, but once you cross the river, you don't need the boat. So I needed my, confusion and my ego and my struggle to wake me up to the fact that I don't need it. And I think the part of my brain that wanted all those answers in India was the part of my brain that he was telling me just to be quiet with. Just be quiet. Shh. Just be present. And if you really be quiet, like I said, it's not like the part of your brain that wants the questions gets an answer. It's that the part of your brain that wants the question just kind of dissipates. There's no more need for an answer, because there was really no need for a question. So for me, it's just, very noisy brain. Shh. That's not quitting. That's not giving up. That's not forfeiting. It's surrendering, which I like to. It's, when you use the word surrender, you remember that there was a fight going on. There was a fight in my brain, an unnecessary battle that I'm fighting with myself. So just kind of surrender a little bit, and you'll have a flash of something real nice, and then your brain will quickly try and understand it, and it'll never be able to, and it'll be this horrible cycle. But you'll feel it, and you'll want it again.